Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Equity Eric, and I'm here to share with you my ongoing thoughts, research, and findings that relate to world economy, with particular focus on North American markets, investing, and in real estate. Now, a few reasons why I decided to start this channel. I know it's a little bit cheesy, but it's better to give than to receive, and I truly believe that right now is time for me to share my knowledge and experience with others. If you teach as opposed to just absorbing information, you learn 3 times faster. So hopefully you guys can teach me something. I know I have a lot to learn, and so that's another reason why I'm here. So let's pool our knowledge together so we can all benefit from our collective knowledge base. Another reason why I decided to start this channel is to fill a void. Don Harold, another YouTube video contributor, or as he likes to call himself, just a guy on the internet, has put his videos on pause for the moment. And Don, if you're watching this video, I have the utmost respect for what you've done, what you've contributed to your audience. I believe you're honest and speak from your heart, and I've disagreed with you and your opinions some of the time, but I've always respected and admired the work you've done, so thank you. Now, getting to the meat and potatoes of this video. This video is my predictions for 2011. I figured, what a great way to start off with my first video for the outlook for the rest of the year. So here we go, starting off with number 1. Precious metals receive a pullback during 2011. If we look at SLV, which is the ETF that tracks the price of silver, it's down about 10% in the past 21 days, from a high of $30.44 on December 31st of 2010 to $26.83, which was the close for Friday, January 21st. And I think we're going to see another additional 30% or so pullback in the price of silver by the end of 2011. Here's the thing with silver. So silver has historically always been very volatile. Now, the far-leaning left will have you believe otherwise. The Johnny-come-lately followers of Max Kaiser and co., who are predicting $50 an ounce for the price of silver during this year. I just have to go on a little bit of a tangent here. All of these doomsday prophets that have come out in the past few months that are claiming fiat currency is going to collapse and we're going to be going back to trading precious metals. Really, people? Should we break out the old velvet pouches that people used to carry around to put all their gold and silver coins in circa 1700? Come on. This sort of thinking is just as absurd as in the 50s when people thought, in the year 2000, we're going to have hover cars and space stations on the moon and microchips in our bodies. But like erosion, change is a long and slow process. And from the fundamentals I've seen, getting back to the price of silver, the price of silver has risen far too quickly to be supported by the demand out there. Gold, I also believe, will drop during 2011. I'm predicting gold will hover between $1,100 and $1,200 an ounce. However, gold, unlike silver, has historically always been on a 45-degree upward chart. And this, I believe, will continue. But if we look at where we are currently, gold is at about $1,350 or so an ounce, I believe, which is overshooting that 45-degree incline by about $150 to $200. So, prediction number 1, precious metals prices drop in 2011. Alright, going on to prediction number 2, real estate prices remain flat. Any recovery that we will see in real estate prices, which will most likely occur over the summer of this year, is going to be erased by the banks increasing inventory. Now, one thing to remember here is the reason not every single neighborhood looks like Flint, Michigan right now is because the banks are holding on to huge quantities of inventory. Now, they can't just let these properties go to crap, so they're maintaining them properly. And another reason why you didn't see a whole lot of signs out is because that would just devalue the markets even further. Basically, the banks are holding on to all of these properties, keeping them on their books, and slowly putting more out onto the table as the market begins to recover. It's going to take a long time for them to get rid of all these properties. Probably about 3 to 4 years. Prediction number 2 is real estate prices remain flat. Prediction number 3. US dollar loses value versus the Canadian dollar and the euro. The US dollar versus the Canadian dollar will be at about 105, and the US dollar versus the euro will be at about 70 cents. Now, I haven't commented on the won or the yen here because I don't have enough information on those currencies and how they relate to the US dollar. But if any of you guys do, I'd love to hear your comments on what your opinions are and what your outlook is for those currencies. Prediction number 4. We are going to see inflation, but it is going to be invisible inflation. And what do I mean by that? The purchasing power of the US dollar is going to drop. It's not going to drop all at once. It's going to be a constant pace throughout the year. Staple items such as bread, sugar, coffee, chocolate, basically any food-related items, gas, electricity. I don't believe that the US economy will be able to handle a Mike Tyson-like punch to staple prices. Now, Fox News, as they like to call it, or Fox Illusions, as I see it as a more appropriate name, has done numerous shows on how orange juice is going to be $45 a carton, $12 for a Hershey's chocolate bar, and $14 for a loaf of bread. Get ready, America. Come on, people. What I feel is more likely going to happen is that we're going to see a reduction in the size and quantity, as well as the quality, as well as an increase in price. So instead of paying, say, $2.50 for a loaf of bread, we're going to see a price of $2.60 for the same loaf of bread, but one slice is missing. See, food producers aren't stupid, and neither is the government. And they know if they make rapid changes like $45 carton of orange juice, $17 carton of eggs, that there's going to be rioting in the streets. At least I would hope so. But if you shave off a little bit at a time, people will become complacent and they will be willing to accept the boiling frog syndrome. Prediction number 4, invisible inflation. Number 5 is in relation to number 4, gas prices. I believe we will see crude hit $95 a barrel, and at the pump we'll see $3.50 a gallon and $1.30 a liter for my Canadian audience by December 11. Number 6 is a prediction that I hope doesn't come true, but I have a feeling in my gut that we will see something like this. A new war breaks out in late 2011. Now, the reason I put quotations on the word war is because we're not going to see Iraq Part 2, I don't believe. We're going to see something, an event that is similar to more of an Afghanistan Part 2. It is going to be something that can't be won, there's no end game in sight, and there's no real clear objective given out to the public. Making sure that the war machine's gears keep turning. One thing we got to remember here is that the US military makes up 23% of the total US budget. 23%, that's almost a quarter. That needs to be justified somehow. Within several years' time, I feel the US will be just jonesing to blow some shit up! Yeehaw! Like I mentioned, I hope prediction number 6 doesn't happen, but don't be surprised if we see a new war breakout late this year. Number 7, I'd like to end on a positive note here. Dow closes above 13K in December 31st, 2011. We're going to see a small incline of growth, I believe, in the majority of stock prices. That's not to say that the worst is behind us for the US or the world in general. It's actually far from it. Unemployment in the US is still in the double digits in most areas. Real estate prices are still severely depressed. However, one thing to keep in mind is that most publicly traded companies have stabilized, and the market is now in the tail end of a boom period of this bull market. And yes, we are in a bull market for those of you who are not aware. And we have at least another 12 months before we see another bear. So that is my predictions for 2011. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I plan to be making one video a week at the bare minimum. And until next time, I'm Equity Eric. Stay foolish, stay hungry.